Welcome into another episode of The Voice of Camp Nathaniel. This is coming to you from the campus of Camp Nathaniel, and this is Lee Sharp. It's January 1st, at least when this episode is premiering, and I've got a couple of guests with me here today. I have our mission director, Jeff McIntyre.
Good to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm playing with the buttons a little bit.
Man. Oh, nice.
And they already know that we were playing with the buttons here. They already know where I'm going with this. I have a second guest here with me, Austin Rafferty, our camp director.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm just kidding, Austin. You can get applause as well.
Glad to be here.
So, a little bit different there. Stephen is out today. He's taking care of some pastoral things. We'll have to get him back in here at some point. He's been missing a few episodes, so we'll drag him back to camp here and get him on a few episodes there. But with January 1st, at least the past couple of years, we've taken some time to sit down with our mission director, Jeff McIntyre, to basically talk about how the last year went. So in this episode, we're going to look at 2025.
Year in review.
We're going to we'll share some stories. We'll talk about some of the good stuff there. I think the other thing that I had one more button that I wanted to hit. See if any of our campers recognize this sound. Because this is not just any bell that is ringing. This is the Camp Nathaniel bell that's rung each morning to wake the campers up, get them going. And if some of you were having a little bit, I don't know, depending on flashbacks there, you had a moment of a little bit of panic because you knew that you needed to get up quick because it was almost time for breakfast, depending on when you're listening to this. But yeah, so guys, we have lots of different stories. We pulled the calendars out from last year to be able to just look and kind of reminisce and talk about some of the stories. So,
well, if anybody is, part of the mailing list, if you get Light in the Hills, our quarterly publication, we try to get in everybody's hands the annual calendar of events of things that go on so that you can pray for us, so that you can maybe participate if you're able to in those different events. And so, and by the way, before I get started, if you are not on that mailing list, if you would like to receive the Light in the Hills quarterly publication, which really is just an informative quarterly publication that we put out to keep people in tune with what's going on here on campus. We do a couple personal interest stories with that publication, and then we also try to highlight personnel changes, additions, people that we have coming on doing internships. We also talk about and highlight the different ministries that we're doing relative to that time of year, the quarter, and so it's just a way to be able to keep up on that. Of course, we share the needs, some of the things that are going on in camp as far as what we're doing as far as additions to the campus, improvements to the campus. A lot of people forget that 500 acres does not just take care of itself. And so there's a lot of people, a lot of equipment, and a lot of things that need to be maintained and kept up in order to make sure that we're operating at optimum level, which is what we want to do. Mm-hmm. So if you're interested in getting on that mail list, just call Camp Nathaniel. Mm-hmm. You can do that at area code 606-251-3231, or you can go on the website at www.campnathaniel.org and get a hold of us and get put on that mailing list so that you can receive that information if you'd like to. And then anybody who does that, you'll get that annual calendar sent to you. In fact, we just sent it out.
This should be your test.
Yeah.
If you have the annual, if you got this in the mail, then you've got it somewhere in your house.
That's right.
If you have not received one over this past month, then we need to get you on that list.
Yeah, we would love to keep in contact with you that way. And so then you can follow and take a look at it. And as I look over last year's calendar, we probably did more ministry events last year than probably at any time in our mission history, as far as using the facilities here, having something going on, the weekends that we filled up, all the different events. It was probably our most active busiest calendar year of ministry I think that we've had. So I don't say that to toot our horn necessarily. In fact, as leaders, sometimes we need to take a look at this and say, wait a minute, we've got people are our most precious resource here at our mission, and we want to take care of them. And so we're looking at different ways to maybe combine some of those things together.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the changes of some of those things that'll be coming up, if not in this podcast, in the next. But we're excited about what the future holds. But as we kind of reminisce and think about last year, I would say that God blessed. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
God blessed us in an amazing way in allowing us to be able to do ministry to the extent that we were able to do. And one of the things I'm most excited about is how the mission is making inroads with local churches. Not that camp has never had a relationship with local churches, because we have.
It's where a lot of our volunteers are coming from.
Exactly. It's really, a lot of people forget that at its core, Camp Nathaniel and Scripture Memory Mountain Mission, we view ourselves as a parachurch organization. And for those of you that aren't familiar with that term, what that basically means is we look at our existence as trying to help and encourage the local church any way that we can. Camp Nathaniel and Scripture Memory Mountain Mission does not want to replace the job or the responsibility of the local church. We want to encourage the local church to be able to do and minister and encourage their people. And so whether that's through our facilities usage or being able to host an event, or them sending their kids to our weekend conferences, or their couples to our couples retreat, anything that we can do to help encourage them minister to their people, that's what we want to do. And so we've been seeing a lot of those inroads coming to fruition more. Churches looking at it and say, hey, can we do a church picnic over at camp? Can we use the grounds for that? And the answer to that is, if the calendar allows it and it's open, yes. It's a bold and absolute yes. We want to be able to encourage you. We want to be able to allow you to have the benefit of the facilities that God has blessed us with. And so I just want to reiterate that those relationships that we're growing with local churches have not only been encouraging to us, but I think it's been able to be a really good benefit for those that take advantage of what we're able to offer.
Yeah. And and beyond that, like looking at the calendar, talking about like the men's events. I know there was at least 2 or 3 churches that packed their vans full and brought all their guys over, and it was a men's day, and there's just something about getting a big group of guys together to be able to throw some axes and do all that sort of shoot things.
Shotguns.
I know that we had, who was our speaker this last year? Was that? Holland?
Holland, yes.
Josh Holland, which he was on our podcast this past year, so you may have to go back. If you're on your phone, you can flip back a few episodes and find the one with Josh Holland to give you a little bit of an idea of the kind of speakers that we're bringing in for our events, because it's not just, we're not just picking somebody up off the side of the road here. There is a lot of consideration that has gone in, and Josh is one of those local guys who knocks it out of the park.
Let's just say what it is. We're all guys here. Josh is a dude's dude.
Yeah, he's a manly man.
And he was, but he loves the Lord, and he's a great dad, and he's involved in ministry himself, and so being able to put those kind of people up in front of those that want to participate in an activity or an event like that is exactly what we want to do. We want to encourage those guys. We want to let them know that, if there's anything our world needs right now, it's stand-up guys who stand up for the biblical principles and are just leaders in their family. And so, that was a great weekend. And again, some people might be out there going, oh, I didn't know that existed. I didn't even know that was a possibility. Well, it is. And that is, again, I'll just refer back. That's why you need to get connected with us. Take a look at our annual calendar and go through it, and you'll be able to see several opportunities for you and your family, not just your kids, you and your family as a whole, to get involved.
Yeah, and speaking of local churches and getting involved, it was very encouraging. This past year at one of our spring overnights, we actually had a local church who loaded up all of their kids in their church there, all the different age groups, and they would bring a bus load. I thought it was like, oh, we borrowed a camp van to go pick up students in another county, but actually it was local church members. A lady just volunteered. She took it upon herself to load the van down with kids and brought them over here for a weekend at Camp Nathaniel. And it's those kind of things that it's so encouraging to see our churches getting involved in. And I see it all the time. It takes one person to invest in and partnering up with us with these kids and just being that encouraging voice that, hey, we've got, keeping track of what's coming up and getting kids plugged in here at camp. It was just so encouraging to see her do that. It was a whole.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was a whole.
Like that's
van.
news. That's news to me.
Whole van. It was really neat. It was really neat.
The stuff that you don't realize is happening.
Right.
Yeah. And it's just locals. It's just local churches. No one asked her to. She just took it upon herself. I wish I could remember her name. I apologize. I may look that up and try to post that somewhere later. But yeah, it was really, really neat to see. Just bring them, right? And we encourage all you out there. If we've got, we'll talk about it. I know in our next podcast we've got a lot of stuff coming up next year, and let me just encourage you, if you want to go and load a van full of all your kids at your church and you want to bring them, we are not going to say no. We want to encourage that and just know the encouragement it would be to us, and let us know how we can partner up with you to make that happen as well. We'd love to just make those connections and get kids here on campus.
Right, and that's the one thing that we want to make sure that we're not, we don't want you to be disillusioned or make you think that we're trying to take the place of what your church is doing. We're trying to assist. Let's just be honest. In our area, there's not a lot of churches that are big enough and have the resources enough to put together a youth conference for a weekend or take their kids somewhere. So allow us to put the plan together, allow us to provide the facilities, allow us to put the schedule together. You just load that van up and get them here.
That's right.
That's
right.
what you need to do. And then we would love the opportunity. And let me just say this: if it's something that you want to be involved with your kids that weekend, we have a very I guess you could say non-threatening volunteer app that you could fill out. When you get through our checks, so to speak, we would love to have you come and be a part of that weekend with your kids. Share it with your kids, and you can help staff that weekend. There's always jobs and things that need to be done, and so we want to include you into those kinds of things. So there's lots of opportunities there.
All right, so now I got to ask the big question here about one of the largest ministries that happens here at Camp Nathaniel, and is actually the name Summer Camp.
Yeah,
I got the summer camp director in here. This is why we pulled you, Austin.
Awesome.
You've got the stories and all the things.
Yeah, and just from a director's perspective, for some of you that don't know, last summer was Austin's first go round as the summer camp director, and I just want to let everybody know that Austin is the man for the job. He did a great job. We were excited about not only the way that Austin was able to motivate and encourage our summer staff, which is a big part of being the summer camp director. I think a lot of people maybe don't realize that as a summer camp director, you don't have the opportunity to go and form a relationship or pour into every individual kid. You depend on your staff to do that.
Yep, absolutely.
And so, the staff is really always, is the way I looked at it when I was the camp director for almost 20 years, the staff was the extension of me. Mm-hmm. And so if I was able to connect and pour into and to be able to relate and communicate with my staff what we wanted to accomplish, then summer would usually go pretty smooth. And I think Austin did a great job of that this past summer. I was really excited and pleased with the way that program went. But I'll let Austin talk a little about some of those stories that he was able to experience in that position.
Yeah, and so you said it exactly right. The summer staff, those are the frontline workers when it comes to pouring into all of our campers here on campus. And so it was really neat to see. We had a great staff. We had a small staff, which I got a little nervous at the beginning of summer, thinking, oh no, but I tell you, it never felt like we were shorthanded at all. They knocked it out of the park. We really had a phenomenal summer, and like I could brag on all the great things that they did, but one of the coolest thing, and where I'd really like to brag on summer camp, we had a grand total of 277 young lives staying for the week on campus. They were hearing the gospel, right? And out of those 277, we had 24 first-time professions of faith. And like, God did some amazing work this summer. We had 3 rededications and 2 baptisms, like out of grade school through high school campers. And it was really neat to see God move. And even after summer, it was really neat. I was, you're talking about stories. I had a dad come to me at one of our overnights, one of the fall overnights that had just passed, and his son, he made the profession of faith. He gave his life to Christ. He accepted Jesus for the first time this summer, and since leaving, we try to keep contact with these kids and follow up, and it was neat to hear the follow up at one of the overnights, the fall overnights. So this little guy, he comes back, and his dad is really excited to see me. And I was like, oh, I've never met his dad, but this is cool. So his dad comes up, and he's got his phone, and he shows, and he says, look what he just did. He went to church and asked to be baptized. So his dad shared with me. I got to see the video of this little guy who come to camp, right? He gave his life to Jesus. He's following Jesus now, and Jesus says to be baptized. And so he goes to church, and he does that. And I just thought that's just a really cool thing that God allowed me to be a part of and to see, following this little dude. And so it's really neat because the thing that, or not the thing, but he actually was a free camper because he did his lessons for the first time last year. And I was his county worker, so I got to talk to him and encourage him and get to see him do this. And so to see him not even participating in church at all, but going to him and letting him, learn some 35 Bible verses, do 6 lessons, right? Like not super challenging, but enough to really get him diving into God's word, and then having him come to camp. And then, it's like all these little seeds where God was just planting, right? Like God was watering, and then eventually when he comes to camp for summer, he hears the gospel, right? And then we see the fruit. God brings the harvest. And it was just so cool to get to watch that. And really, when I look at sometimes why do I do what I do? And that is why I do what I do right there. And that was just a really cool story that I got to follow all the way. And I'm still following. Like I still get to see this guy. I'm sure he'll be back. Like I don't think he's a one and done. I think he's pretty pumped about camp this summer as well.
Yeah, and Austin alluded to some of the summer staff, but as the mission director, I just want to brag on our full-time staff too.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, the summer staff is a big part of that connection with the kids, but as far as leadership in the different departments that make camp run, our full-time staff, it's a grind for them, and yet this is what they do. This is what God's called them to do. And so to see them provide that leadership and see things happen, and a lot of that came through people that God has brought to our staff through the internship program. And I know that in the past we've already talked about who those people were, but Paige Waddles, Grace Smith, and Ellie Franklin really did a great job this summer as interns. And as some of you may know who are connected with Camp Nathaniel, all three of them have now made application for full-time ministry and are appointees. And so I would just say this, pray for those three young women as they raise their support. They are looking for backers, for people to build their support team. If God has put you in a position where you can contribute or help any or all of them, that would be great. It would be a big encouragement to them. But they're excited about what God is now, what they feel convinced. And we are convinced also that God has given them a skill set and a love for this ministry that is going to make them some really great workers for our mission. So I'm just going to insert that little bit in there about our interns, the ones that have now become appointees. And so pray for all three of those young women. And then again, if God puts on your heart that, hey, I could help be part of their support team to get them to Camp Nathaniel, then for sure, check in, call the office, talk to Lee, and he can set you up.
Yeah, and if you want a little more just encouragement to support them, we're leaning on them heavily this summer as part of the camp committee. We've already pegged them for some pretty big jobs, and so just throwing that out there, we really are praying that they are
fully supported
by summer.
Yeah,
because,
that's what we're praying.
Yeah, we need them, and we're excited for what they bring to our summer camp program. Like they really knocked it out of the park, and like Jeff said too, all of our staff. We've got I can't brag on our team enough. Like not just the summer staff, but the camp committee, the full-time staff that aren't a part of camp committee that are just here, pouring in week in, week out, like that. Think of your day-to-day job, right? How many jobs do we go and we spend 6 weeks where the only time we have off is Saturday evening, right? Like and we go to church Sunday and then we come back Sunday. Like we're here for 6 weeks and I didn't hear any complaining. Like it was good. We had a good summer.
That's right.
We had a great team.
It's a really good summer.
It was.
And so we finished up summer, and then we got into the fall. And Austin, you were grabbing some papers for, if you don't know, in the fall is our outdoor education program, where camp is transformed into a field trip destination, and a lot of different schools, homeschools, kids come and visit and learn about the amazing world that we live in, with the scientific method and learning about the different. This year was talking about all the different, I think it was the power-packed earth, so all the different minerals and coal and worms, and kids got dirt under their fingernails, and they were picking up worms and looking at this amazing world that God has made. And Austin, you grabbed some of the statistics from that. I'm curious to how many schools came in total.
We had 29 different school groups, and that's including public schools, Christian schools, homeschool groups, and then just private schools. We had the counties in attendance. We had Knott, Perry Independent, Harlan, Leslie, Letcher, and Breathitt. Those are the counties. We had in total program attendance 3,041, and just students in that group we had 2,684 students who come through our outdoor education program.
Just a few.
Yeah, just a few. And what I love about this program is so for teachers out there, if you're a teacher, you know, and you're not aware, the program is designed to follow core curriculum that you're teaching in your schools. One really neat story I had, one of the teachers came. I talked to her after the fact. She brought her class, and she was like, man, I had already had planned to go back and teach the scientific method, but you guys did such a good job. I can totally move past that now. And that's what we want to do. We want to align with these schools, so when they bring them in, we're helping them. But it's really neat because 3,041 people, 2,684 students, not only did they learn the scientific method, but they heard the full truth of the gospel. And that, man, that's a wonderful program. It's neat to be a part of and to see.
And that one's heavily run with volunteers.
Yeah, the unique thing about that program is we provide the leadership, but we need people who are willing to help staff that. And we got people this year. It was amazing. The array of people and where they came from was great. And I don't say that to say that we've got this all buttoned up and we're ready to go again next fall. What I'm trying to say is, if you are able to give a week or more of your time, minimally at least a week, or more of your time during the month of September, we would love to get in contact with how you can help volunteer at that program. We had volunteers from Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Tennessee, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. So you don't have to be local to be involved. It's looking at it as almost a short-term mission trip type of an experience.
Yep.
And you'll come down here, and what we'll do for you is we will not put square pegs in round holes. We want to use your skill set and talents that God's given you. If you're not afraid of kids, awesome, because there's going to be an opportunity for you to be in front of them. If that's not your bag, so to speak, we've got behind the scenes or support staff we need kitchen workers, we need dining room workers, we need trash emptiers, we need people to run a store. We have all different kinds of jobs that we need to fill for that month of time. So whatever that looks like, then we would love to see you get involved.
Yep. So we're going to continue this. We'll probably have more stories in our next episode coming out on January 15th. But we're almost at the end of this one here. So is there anything that we want to give them a heads up on? As this is premiering on January 1st, there's an important thing that comes up at the beginning of every year.
Yeah, well, for sure. Everybody's kind of anticipating one of the big events in the summer is our family camp.
Yep.
And so in order to be part of that family camp, we take registrations, pre-registrations, and that is going to be opening up on January 6th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And so if you are interested in being a participant in our family camp this year, January 6th at 10 a.m.
It's a Tuesday.
It's on a Tuesday. We are going to be opening up that registration. There's two ways that you can register. You can actually call the number at camp and talk to somebody on the phone, but there will also be an online registration. You can find the connection to that online registration by going to the website.
Yes.
So at www.campnathaniel.org, you can click on events. I think there's an events tab.
Yes.
And it will tell you how to.
There's a family camp thing there. You'll click on that, and when the registration is open, the button will probably say live or something,
Right.
or like register now. It'll be something along those
You
lines.
type in your information. Just a little bit of heads up: we do require a deposit.
Yes.
For those registrations. There's a $100 deposit. That'll hold your spot. That'll make sure that we know you're serious about taking that time. It really does help us. We did that for the first time last year, and it really was beneficial to us, and I think it was beneficial to the people that were registering. So there will be a $100 deposit, so have a credit card ready if you do it online or if you call in so that we can take care of that.
Yep. And that fills up very, very quick. So 10 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesday, January 6th. If you're in a different time zone, keep in mind, Eastern time, give us a call, get that registration in, because family camp is our one event that fills up faster than anything else.
Right.
So,
when some of you are saying, well, how fast is fast? 30 minutes. If you didn't get your call within the first 30 minutes of that 10 o'clock hour, you might be hard-pressed to find a spot.
Yep.
So
And
I'm just trying to be honest with you.
Yep. And after that time, once we get full, what we do is we start taking basically a waiting list.
Sure.
And so the waiting list, again, is first come, first serve, so that if somebody on our original list says, hey, I'm looking at my schedule, we got a thing tied up with work, I'm not going to be able to come at that time, and we say, we're so sorry that you're going to be missing it, we'll take you off the list, and then the first person on the waiting list, they get bumped up.
Real quick, some people want to know this. Main speaker this year, a really good friend of Camp Nathaniel. He's spoken several times over the past 25 years here at Camp Nathaniel. Ray Pritchard with Keep Believing Ministries will be here as our main speaker. Our missionary speaker, a guy by the name of Jim Teasdale, he was with an organization called Master's Mission out of North Carolina. Very, very excited to have both those gentlemen involved in our summer camp this year.
So that's when the registration, again, January 6th, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Go on and get on that. And on our next episode, we're going to talk maybe a little bit more about 2025, but we're going to talk even more about what's coming up in 2026. So we'll see y'all then.